Thank you for coming today. I appreciate it. For those people that don't know you, would you like to just introduce yourself for everyone?
Yeah, of course. My name's Helen Hodgson. I live in Sheffield. I've been a landlord for 6 years now. I have watched Homes Under the Hammer for the past 20 years and thought this is a way to live. However, as people know, Homes Under the Hammer is a bit of a fantasy, but it had moved me. It grew my passion really into property and particularly creative strategies and creative ideas of doing property, not just buy it, you sit in it and you grow old in it and that's it. So I'm quite grateful for watching Homes Under Hammer just for that, because it's kind of moved me and got me thinking about courses and finding out other ways of doing property really. So that's my kind of journey for the last 6 years. Has been rather slow, but in the last year, funnily enough, since lockdown, I've kind of got into it a lot more, found some quite interesting people to follow, see what they do, and been on quite a few courses and got into a few groups, one like this one with Shona, and feels like things are moving in the right direction.
Cool. So this is it only one buy to let you've got at the moment, or have you got more than that?
I've got one buy to let, and
Yeah.
then I bought a cottage about 2.5 years ago, which this is what I'm sat in, and that's that was I took that back to stone, and all the floors came out, so that was all electrics, plumbing, new floors, new room. And now I'm left with, I actually need a kitchen. I've been cooking on a camping stove for 2 years.
No way. the reality of property.
Yeah, you know, you got to do it, haven't you? You've got to do it. So, but it's good because then you get a feel for how the kitchen would work and, you know, things like that. That's my excuse anyhow. So, yeah, in a good place with it, and created a lot of equity in it as well. So my what I'm going to do is, once it's all finished, I haven't got a mortgage on it, so I'll get it financed, take the money out, start the next property, that kind of thing. So
Perfect. And so you're living in this refurb project. Do you
I am.
expect to take the money out, buy another one and live in that, and then rent this one out?
I am going to rent this one out, yeah, definitely. So I also, it gave me an opportunity to move as well, which I'm thinking of doing. So I've been in Sheffield for a long time. So at a point in my life where I can perhaps take things a little bit easier, or I'm not needed as much as a mum, and you know, that kind of thing. And I would like to maybe move down the country somewhere a bit warmer.
Okay. So have
Possibly.
you always been in Sheffield, or where were you before that?
I was actually born in Doncaster, on the outskirts kind of thing, and moved to Sheffield when I was 18. Yeah, and then had a son when I was 20, and so he's now 31, and I've got 2 grandkids, and
You don't sound like you're from Sheffield, stroke Doncaster, because I went to uni in Doncaster.
oh my goodness.
I did. And when I was at uni, everyone used to talk about Meadowhall, right? Meadowhall. And I kept
Yeah.
trying to Google it and I couldn't find Meadowhall. It took 2 years for me to work out it was called Meadowhall. But it's just the way everyone was saying it. I couldn't work out what it was.
That's understandable. I mean, it's, you know, it's quite a surprise as a university there now, but you know, I did actually, my career was, I was a teacher, an English teacher, so I guess you have to speak right.
Yes, there we go. There's the north.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all because you became a teacher. That's why you had to speak like
That's it. So people could understand what I was saying.
I think it's really cool that you're in a cottage, actually. I'd love to see some pictures sometime, actually, if you don't mind. So, because you took it back to brick, I'm imagining it was a pure wreck when you took it on. Is that right? Yes.
Well, the people that had it had been smokers. They'd lived here about 40 or 50 years. So when I first got in and I was starting to take, start thinking about refurb and everything, I was chipping away and started doing some steaming off the wallpaper. And I noticed, looked up, and there was all these, like, the steam generates, the water droplets, but they were all brown. And that was just all the nicotine. So you could smell it everywhere. I mean, it was filthy, and I thought, oh, we're going to have to go right back to brick. It was just
when you took it on, that was something you discovered later.
That was something we discovered, yeah. But actually, it was a good thing we did it, because when we took the floors out, the joist was so thin. At some point, the floors would have gone through anyhow. So that's kind of the side of going back to brick. Yeah, and do things like, there wasn't an attic room, so that was created. Luckily, there was the head height was fantastic. There's loads of lovely wooden beams. We repurposed a lot of the beams that came out of the ceiling in the front room and used them as the doorways. So the original wood is in now as yeah. So and that gives it a nice feature, and it's trying to keep it in the same style as what a cottage would be. It's only small, but it is really nice, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that obviously you've got some equity in it.
Mm.
How much of that equity is because you bought it at a good price because it needed a lot doing, and how much of that is just through capital growth?
So I did what they say to do, is to buy the worst house on the best street. Yeah. And it was just really lucky that nobody else wanted this. So I came across it and I thought, oh bloody hell, I'm going to get in here quick. And for whatever reason, it's 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years in September. Mm. And nobody else wanted to touch it. And I suppose, there wasn't like the bubble like we've got now, which has been crazy this year. It was a little bit more sedate. Sheffield has always been great for properties, so it's not like there was any problems with the area or anything. However, I think I was just really lucky, and I battered them down a little bit on price as well. So I bought it for 190, and I think it'll probably get revalued at 320.
That's good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. How much has your refurb cost you though?
It's coming up to 44 now.
That's not too bad, actually. I was expecting it to be way bigger, especially as you took it back to brick and you weren't expecting to. So
we're up north though, aren't we, love?
Yes, but I was going to try and do it, and I was like, no, don't do it. Embarrassing myself. I'll get comments in the chat saying like, Shona, don't take the mick out of people's accents. You threw me off now. I'm like, what am I talking about? That's good. I'm happy for you. Because when I remembered Sheffield, I would go there to party, basically. Yeah. And because it's a proper uni town, I would say, that there's so many HMOs there and just student accommodation. So I'm guessing it's not in the centre, it's a little bit out. Is that right?
It is. To walk into the centre, it probably takes an hour and 20 or something like that, which I've done many times. It's fine. It's towards the Peak District, so great, lovely and green around it, which is fabulous. But you're right, Sheffield's a big university town, 2 universities, loads of HMOs. I'm going to go and view an HMO this week, funnily enough.
Okay.
So, and obviously an Article 4 area as well. But there's a lot of new development happening, which is kind of excitement. There's been a very depressed area in Sheffield called Attercliffe, that was at one point, many years ago, very, very, it was like a small village in itself, and lots of housing, lots of amenities, and it degraded and over the years, and as the housing was demolished, and it became quite a difficult place to go. It was known for drugs, and there was firearms and all sorts of things going on. but now there's quite a lot of regeneration happening. So that's going to be something else that's really beneficial for Sheffield. And there's loads of development going off anyway. And students, there's a lot of Chinese students, a lot of overseas students in Sheffield. And they bring quite a lot of money with them as well. So there's now a Chinese quarter, really, of purpose-built apartments for Chinese students. Okay. And that's be working all right.
And your cottage, because it's got all these kind of features to it, will that help you get a better rent for it, do you think?
Yeah, it definitely will. I think it's the area though. You know, you could have this cottage and you could put it on the other side of town, and you would get an okay rent for it, but it's all to do with area, really, I feel. That location, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But of course, you know, thinking about when I've been thinking about doing the refurb on here, the question was, do I do it, like, obviously I took it back to brick, but what do I put back into it? Do I put back something in that is just for a rental market, or do I put back, you know, everything that's, you know, the kitchen and all that sort of thing that's actually quite decent material and handmade, and, or, you know, if I go down that path. And I think that because of where it is, I don't think it's going to depreciate by no, that's not what I'm saying. I think putting the quality stuff in is worth it, because that's going to return a lot more, really, in the long term.
Yeah. And obviously where you want to refinance it, you want it to be worth the highest maximum value, don't you?
That's right, because yeah, absolutely. I was thinking as a buy-to-let, but it might not be at that point. But anyhow, I want to realise as much as I can. Yeah, definitely. That's the point, isn't it? I'm afraid.
Yeah. You said it might not be a buy-to-let. Have you? Because when I think of cottages, they're always the places I want to stay. Like, I was looking for one the other day on Airbnb. Have you considered using it as an SA, or is that not on the cards at all?
I have considered it as an SA. I have, yeah, and I'm not sure. There's an issue with gardens which are a little bit shared, but it's not something that could be not overcome. I think it's more going to be where I'm going to be, whether I'll still be in Sheffield or will I be further afield. And obviously I can put that out to some, like, a management company.
Yeah.
But it's only one property. I don't know whether the returns will be enough, if you like. But
where's your other one? The one that you got 6 years ago?
That's not far from here, actually, but it's on the kind of main drag going into Sheffield, but it's still a good area. And I can't do SA on that because there's no parking. And it's on a little square with other residents, and it'd be really difficult for anyone to, you would need a car to get there, or a bus out of town from the train station, for example. You cannot guarantee you can park on there at all.
And do you manage that one yourself as a buy-to-let?
Yeah.
So if you do move down south, you might be looking for an agent to manage both of them then, I'm guessing. Yeah. Is that kind of scary? Because that's very different to obviously what you're doing now, where you manage yourself.
Yeah, you know, I think it is. I think you're right, because I know how to manage it, and I know what I do, and, you know, and I bring quality to it. Whereas I suppose I've heard too many stories about agents looking after it, and it's not the kind of top class job that you do yourself. So I'd have to do my due diligence on agents.
You would do your due diligence. I love it. You know, I'd never heard of that word before I started learning about property, due diligence. And then I thought it was just a property word, and then it started popping up everywhere, and I was like, oh, it's a real word.
I know, crazy, isn't it? I know, all I do is think and breathe property. I don't know if you're the same, but it's just constantly on your brain. It's like you get a spare 5 minutes, and it's, you know, I'm on.
Rightmove. Yeah, I found a new website recently, so I'm always there. Yeah, and it is really addictive, and it gets you dreaming. Like, I found this plot of land that I want. It's got a man-made lake with a bridge over it, and it's a house that has already had planning, so it says, and so it started being built out, and it's got a swimming pool in the back. It's on 2 acres, and I'm like, I want it, but it's like I don't know anything about it apart from that it's beautiful and I want it.
Do you know, at some point you'll be up to the next stage where you're like, right, so how do I get it?
Yes.
So it doesn't become like just a dream. It's actually, what are the steps that I need? So you get closer, don't you, to that?
Yeah.
I found that myself.
I go through phases where I think I can do this, nothing can stop me. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you do that as well?
All the time. I had a fantastic meeting this week with somebody else from a different property group, and he was so on the ball. And I'm thinking, what's up with me? How can I not see things like he sees things? But again, it's the, some days, yeah, I'm well on it and things are going great, but then I just thought, oh, I don't understand how I'd work that. Just how it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I ask, how much of the work in the property did you do yourself, and how much did you hire in?
Okay, so I had a builder that I worked with. So me and my son actually took everything back to the stone, and then they came in and he fitted out obviously the floors, and then the electrician came in and the plumber, and then I've done everything else.
That's cool. Yeah. I feel like when I do my first refurb, I'm going to want to have a builder, but I'm going to want to say, what are we doing today? And I want to join in.
Oh, yeah. Right. I was doing the sort of project management on it as well, which was the first time I'd done that. And I actually felt that I was really winging it. And I was really winging it, but I did learn an awful amount from it, which is, I think, luckily nothing went awfully wrong, or there was a point where me and my son were taking the chimney breast, part of the chimney breast down, and then we thought, oh my god, the rest of the floor's coming down, and running around trying to get props, but it wasn't. It was just us being, like not having the experience of what a wall falling down looks like.
You say you were winging it, but to be fair, the first time we do anything, aren't we winging it? Like, you can educate yourself up to a point, but I truly believe you don't learn something until you actually do it.
Oh, totally right. The experience is everything, isn't it? I mean, I would love to learn, by shadowing somebody or just getting involved, or that is like the old apprentice system, isn't it? But it's just a fantastic way. For me, it's a great way of learning rather than reading. I'm very hands-on. I need to be. That's how I do it. So yeah, if there's anybody out there that needs a bit of help on a project,
winging it no more. You've had your experience, so
I'm not winging it anymore.
Yeah. So if you move down south for your next project, sorry, when is this one ready to go?
Well, I'm hoping by October.
Okay, cool. And that's just the kitchen you got to sort out, and then it'll be done.
And there's a lot of snagging, but mainly the kitchen. Yeah. Cool. But it's an odd shape and all that sort of thing. So it can't just be off the peg, unfortunately. It won't fit. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm dragging my feet on.
It's not a listed building, is it?
No, it isn't. But it was built, I think, 1830. Okay. Yeah.
So you said you want to come down south where it's a bit warmer. I am obviously a bit down south to you, but it's still not that warm. Where are you looking to go, or is it all about wherever the best deal is?
Well, on my Rightmove, what I've got, it's anything from Devon downwards, really.
Oh, Devon downwards, interesting. My family live in Cornwall, so.
Oh, whereabouts?
In Bodmin.
Oh, lovely. Do you go down then?
I used to go quite a lot. I haven't been for a while, but I will be going in August. Maybe we could go.
I'm going in August.
Yeah, we can look at some houses.
Hey, that's where I'm going.
I love Cornwall. I really do. I'm not really a fan of the sea. I don't mind being inland.
No, but like being next to it.
it's just cold next to the water. My girlfriend
Yeah.
loves being near the water. So for yesterday, when we feel like we need to get out, she
Yeah.
says, "Can we go to some water?" So we went to Malden, which isn't on the sea, it isn't even on the Thames. It's like where the water outbreaks, and that was really nice, just because you get like some little sailboats and stuff. So yeah, I like that. But Cornwall has a very nice feel to it, and
Oh, yeah.
all of my family always retire to Cornwall, so maybe that's where I'll end up one day.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as well. I can't see myself retiring though, can you? Not from this.
I feel like I've got so many things I want to do,
Yeah,
and so many dream houses I want to buy.
yeah,
I feel like even if I got into this dream, even if I got that property right on the lake with this dream house and I finished it, I feel like after a few years, I'd be like, right, time to get another
next
one.
one,
Yeah,
next one.
yeah.
Quite interesting. I just did that, the managed wealth profiles. I don't know if you know about those.
Dynamics one.
Say that again.
Is it Wealth Dynamics?
Yes, wealth dynamics. So I did that just this last week actually, and it answered so many questions. Really, I had about.
Pay for it, or did you find a free code?
No, I did get a reduced code, so I'll let you know. And I came out on top as a creator. So the creator is the one that has got loads of different ideas all the time. Difficult as a finisher, but really good as somebody who and this is the same, you see a house and automatically you think, right, I want to do this, 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 and this with it. And that's for every house that you see, even if it's your mate's house,
I feel like I am going to be a creator, but I still take the test. Yeah, it's the same. So do you find it difficult to finish things?
Oh God, it's keeping the motivation going can be difficult. So projects that are perhaps a little bit shorter than this would be really good, but I am consistent. I can plod along, but I've got to feel that there's got to be an outcome. There's got to be a reason why I get it done, so then the next thing I can go on, it'll challenge me or it'll excite me, and I love it. I love coming up with the ideas, I love sourcing stuff, not like having to talk to loads of people. But I just, like all this stuff for here, I more or less sourced it all. And it wasn't, and some of it was secondhand, and which I'm absolutely great about because I hate stuff going into landfill. And it's great, and that's where I'm in my flow, creating and thinking up new ideas, and love it.
So do you do this full time?
No, so I still work. I work at university, so I work with students who've got autism or mental ill health, and my health hasn't been great over the last few years due to a lot of stress in my life, and I think that saying that stress is a killer and the silent killer and all that lot, it's true. I think I'm not dead, so that's obvious, so great, but it's really taken a lot to get to where I am again now. And for me, it's all about quality of life now, and not putting up or not having as much stress in my life. It's just really, really not worth it. So work, I am definitely shifting out of my life, hopefully in September.
Oh, really? You'll be quitting that job? Well, if you're moving, you'd have to do that.
Yeah. So property will be the thing.
And do you have any top tips for things that people can do to shift the stress out of their lives?
Oh, that's a big one.
Or just some things that you do. It doesn't have to be top tips for everyone, because not everything works for everybody.
No, it doesn't. I think the thing that's always been with me is getting out in nature as much as possible. I find that incredibly grounding. I love listening to birds. It's the greenery, it's water, running water. And if you can get enough of that in your life, it can bolster you enough. Quiet time, and switching off devices, keeping away from people that are completely bonkers or toxic or in your life. Try and minimize that kind of contact. It's all about managing boundaries with people, which it's taken me a long time to work that out.
Cool.
That's my top tip, love.
That's your top. I was going to do it. Stop doing it. Stop tip. No, I can't do it. Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Helen. Before we finish off today, is there just anything else that you wanted to put out there into the universe that you wanted to tell people? Anything at all?
Oh, I just think the best thing you can do is just believe in yourself, that you can do it. You can get where you need to be, whatever that is. Just have that faith. It'll happen.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much. And
to you.
I will see you at 5 o'clock at networking.
All right. Great stuff.
All right.
See you later.
See you in a bit. Bye.